Will Sony's upcoming A1 II be a minor update, cost $74.99, and ship before Christmas? Well, we've got the leaked pricing, the shipping time frame, and also information about the FX3 and the FX30. But before we get to the details, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, helps this channel grow, and keeps you up to date on the latest camera coverage. Andrea Pizzini of Sony Alpha Rumors had this to say.
I finally got an info, at least for the European pricing. The camera will be priced at €7,499.
So the price of the A1 II? €7,499. And yeah, that's about a €200 price increase over the Mark I. So what about US dollars? Well, Andrea Pizzini didn't provide us with US pricing, but I'm going to be able to get you within $100 of that price. And to do that, well, we're going to take a look at some cameras such as the R1 and the A1 and look at pricing in the US and France to be able to give us a rough price point. And first up is the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. It currently sells for $42.99 in the United States, but in France, it sells for €4,749. And yeah, that's about a 10.5% difference between the sticker price that we see in the United States and the sticker price that we see in France. So, what about the Alpha 1? Well, the current US price is $64.98, but in France it normally sells for $69.99, although in some places it's on sale. Okay, 10.5%, 7.7%. Yeah, you know what? I want to pick another camera that is, well, about ready to ship, and that might give us a better idea of what we can expect to pay in US dollars. And yes, that's the Canon EOS R1, Canon's flagship mirrorless camera that was announced on July the 17th, a direct competitor to the Sony A1 II. And it's available right now today for a pre-order price of $62.99 and shipping November the 14th in the United States. And in France, the Canon EOS R1 is available for pre-order for a price of $74.49 and starts shipping November the 18th. Did you pick up on that, Kathy? John? Mark? Is it starting to click? Okay, so Andrea told us that the price for the Sony A1 II is going to sell for $74.99. That's euros. The Canon EOS R1, $74.49. That's a difference of 50 euros. So taking a look at the Canon EOS R1, we already have the US price for that, and it's $62.99. I told you I could get you within $100 of that price. Now we do see a slight difference in the price in euros. We've got an extra 50 euros over the Canon EOS R1. And what I think Sony's doing there is they're trying to say, look, ours costs more, but ours is better after all. We're number one in mirrorless. So the expected price for the Sony A1 II in the United States is between $62.99 and $63.49. I mean, if Sony's willing to charge an extra premium in Europe, I'm pretty sure they're willing to charge an extra $50 premium in the United States. After all, they are the number one in mirrorless. And if you are interested in pre-ordering the Sony A1 II, well then please consider using my affiliate links in the description down below. These guys right here, I'll be honest with you, look, they really help support this channel. They're primarily responsible for keeping the lights on. But it is important to disclose that I do get anywhere from 2 to 5% back. And a big thanks to those of you that have already grabbed my links. What I recommend doing is grabbing them, putting them in your browser, bookmarking them, and then as soon as the embargo is lifted, you can go ahead and use them. Now, what Sony's done in the past, in the United States and Canada, not in Europe, is they've made us wait a whole 24 hours before we can do the pre-order. It's a little bit frustrating. It's a little bit annoying, but if you could use my pre-order links, thank you. It means an awful lot to me, and you're helping to keep this channel on the air. But now I have information about the Sony FX3 and the FX30. The Sony FX3 and FX30 aren't coming anytime soon. Planned software updates are in the plan for both cameras, and my source said that Sony isn't in the habit of releasing new cameras with planned software updates. However, this is a new source, and while the source is placed nicely within the need to know, I have no way of validating the information until, well, Sony announces the FX3 and the FX30, but just letting you know not to get too excited. Now, this source didn't mention anything about the Sony A7S4, or any other cameras. It was just the FX3 and the FX30. But I neglected to tell you something about the Sony A1 II. I promised you in the intro information about the shipping, and I'm not leaving it to the end just to get you to watch the entire video. I actually forgot about it, and then as soon as I started covering the FX3 and the FX30, my notes on the computer said, don't forget about the shipping. So, when can we expect the A1 II to start shipping? Now, previously, Sony Alpha Rumors had said Q1 of 2025. I'm happy to tell you that it's not going to be Q1 of 2025. It will start shipping in December, early December. They're not going to make us wait until Christmas Eve, and that's good news. Now, at this point, some people are thinking that the update is going to be a minor one. Even even Andre Bettini of Sony Alpha Rumors is kind of wondering if this is going to be a big update, more or less bracing himself for a minor update. And I actually reached out to him recently, and I told him, I said, look, my thoughts on this is if Sony's done an upgrade to some major capability, then that could prove, well, the killer reason to get this camera. I want to share my experience with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. For a lot of people, it wasn't a major update at all. It was a minor update. It was, in some cases, worth returning and just sticking with the Mark I. However, the new autofocus system, if you're tracking fast-moving subjects or subjects that are in a crowded area, the autofocus system is much faster. But I wouldn't use the word much more accurate. I would say it thinks, a little bit more like the way you and I think when we're focusing with our eyes. It knows what it needs to lock on and stays locked on. And if Sony does something with the A1 II, they take a certain capability and they make it think a whole lot more like us, then for many of us, it could be a worthy upgrade. Now, Sony Alpha Rumors had at one point said it's going to get an updated AI processing unit. And if you recall, that AI processing unit first debuted in the Sony A7R5, a high-end camera. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do get an updated version with many new capabilities. In terms of video, we're not expecting it to do 12K, 16K, 24K, anything ridiculous in terms of resolution and refresh rates. And when it comes to stills, again, we're not expecting it to do 40, 50, or 60 frames per second. We're expecting 30 frames per second. But how will it do that? Is there something that it will do to improve the workflow? Because if a new camera can add additional value by improving our workflow, improving the hit rate, then yeah, to a certain group of people that this camera is aimed at, it would certainly be worth an upgrade. Something to think about, right? I suspect we'll get a better idea of what this camera is all about in the coming days leading up to the announcement. I mean, we're only, 7 days away now? It's coming soon, November the 19th at 9 a.m. in the morning, and I'll be doing a live stream 1 hour before at 8 a.m. with my expert panel to talk about the latest leaked specifications of the A1 II and what we would do if we were the president of Sony International, how we would improve upon the A1 II, who we'd see as our competition, and then cover the announcement live to see how close we were in terms of our predictions, in terms of pricing and specifications. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, a great week, and we'll see you again soon.